everyone, we're back for our mini training Thursday. I am excited to pop on, bear with me post run. So, all right, we are doing it. This one today shouldn't be super long. I did a poll in our Instagram page and gave you guys the reminder today as places to drop questions. So I have a couple main ones to talk about today, but if anyone pops on during the live and drops a question in the comments or during this while I'm talking, I'm happy to answer those if I can. If not, I will also welcome any questions in the comments below after I post this and when I upload it to Instagram, whether you ask on there or here, it doesn't really matter to me, but hopefully I can help. I'll be sure to share to both because some people that ask questions aren't in the group, like they don't have access in. So that's why I like to share to YouTube to help answer those questions for people too. So today we'll start off. Someone asked, how do you track alcohol? So this is a good one, and there's a couple different ways to do it. So I'm going to go over it, and I like to learn through examples. So I will provide you with one and then break down the couple different ways you can do it. All right. So let me know if I lose you, but this should hopefully make sense. So if you were to like scan a can, like a Truly can or something, and I don't even know the exact breakdown of those, but I think it's like 100 calories or something. If you were to scan it, it would say 100 calories, but there wouldn't be probably any macros in there, or even on the nutrition labels, it's not usually in there. So to put it in your MyFitnessPal correctly so that it allots for the right macros, you have to do a little bit of math, but it's really not that hard. And honestly, to each his own, but I'm a big fan of something like a 2-drink max because it's enough to be social and be part of the party and do your thing and not feel too, hungover the next day or unable to stay your course, right? So again, not a fan of completely eliminating anything by whatsoever. So this is all just a way to show you how to allow this into your life and still feel successful, be able to hit your macros and all that good stuff for those of you that are. So the example I'm going to use today is if you check out your drink and it's 300 calories, this is how you're going to figure out what to put in your MyFitnessPal instead of just selecting like a vodka cranberry or something. Instead of selecting that, you're just going to go to the quick add feature to input this information. So we're going to take that 300 calorie drink example and we're going to divide it up between carbs and fats depending on what it has. So the way you can do that is divide by 4 because carbs have 4 calories per gram and that'll give you 75 grams of carbs, or divide by 9, which is 9 calories per gram of fats. So, and that'll give you 33 calories. So, it just kind of depends on what the drink is made of as well. So you can either, keep them separated that way and log carbs and fats, or you can split them up. And so the way you would do that is take the 300 cal drink, divide by 2, which gives you 150, and that's where you're going to be dividing from. So you're going to divide that 150 by 4. That'll give you 37 calories. You're going to divide 150 by 9 for the fats, and that'll give you like 16.5 calories. And usually there's not any protein. I think I've maybe seen like 1 gram of protein, but that's not really usually a part of it. I would just log those 2 things. And then you should be all set. The nice thing about this, again, like not everyone is tracking macros, not everyone needs to, but if you are, this is a really, really cool tool to allow for that flexibility of you to have this in your life and still meet your goals and meet your daily intake and all that stuff and not feel like you're like off track or whatever. So I know that was kind of confusing. So again, we divide by 4 because there's 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates, and we divide by 9 because there's 9 calories per gram of fats. And you can either, divide those up separately or split the total calories and divide by the 4 and 9 to get the actual amounts for you to take up those, like reserve those calories in your day and those carbs and fats for your drinks. So like I said, a little confusing there, but let me know if I lost you. And I have a bunch of cool graphics or other posts people have made that I can share that kind of I'm also a visual person. So if you need to see it, I can write that out as well. Don't hesitate to DM me this stuff. And this is all easy peasy, happy to help. Okay. And then the next question was best oils to cook with. Okay. Now this definitely depends. And I'm going to start with remembering that we like to believe all food is created equal. Now, we're also not naive to the fact that there may be some foods, and there are some foods that are tied or associated with certain health conditions and disease, like heart diseases and things like that. However, when we start putting those labels on foods, it can start to impact the way we think about food and our relationship with food. And I probably don't need to go down that rabbit hole, but long story short, my overall number one pick would probably be olive oil or extra virgin olive oil. And then from there, coconut oil or avocado oil. Something you have to be aware of, coconut and palm oil, I believe, both have higher saturated fats. And you want to modify how many of those a day that you're having. So needless to say, it's kind of like a personal preference. I personally like extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil and in liquid form, and then I'll use coconut in solid. So I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the sprays. It's again, not bad, but it's a pretty processed product. So that's something to consider. Also, everything has a time and a place. Like someone in a deficit, I might say use the oil, the spray oil, so it doesn't take up so many calories because they only have so much to give, right? And I know that their deficit is a short period of time, so they don't have to choose that forever. And then when they're in their reverse or their maintenance or surplus, they can go back to using the solid or liquid form, right? So I like to think of everything as like a tool and to use it at the right place. And it's actually better to switch it up and have a better, a bigger variety of things than Xing all these things out. So hopefully that's helpful. Let me know if you have more questions on that. And then the last big one was an interesting question. It said, what all should I be counting nutrition wise? And this is a really, really broad question because I don't know anything about your goals, and I'm not a one size fits all approach kind of coach. So I would say number one, you don't have to be counting at all to be successful. I would say if you are someone tracking your macros, I would track protein, carbs, fats, fiber, and pay attention to your calories, making sure they're kind of still in the realm of whatever you have them set at. But if we're talking macros versus calories, I would also recommend macros over calories. But there is 10,000 different ways you can do this. I even have people who only track protein at certain times or protein in total calories. So this question is a little too vague for me to give probably a one answer to, but everything you should be counting nutrition wise, I would say, it just depends on what your goals are, what you've done previously. Also, if you're someone looking to count macros and maybe never have before, like I said, I would start with probably the main ones: protein, carb, fat, fiber, and total calories. But you want to make sure you have a really good foundation as well. So sometimes to me, I like to think of nutrition as in steps and layers. So instead of thinking like, oh, I just need to track macros because that's like what everyone's doing right now, I want to know, like, what does your breakfast look like? Are your meals complete? Are you drinking your daily water? Are you getting some type of regular movement in every day? Are you following a training program? Is your stress management under control? How are you sleeping? Like, to me, those pillars are so much more important than the specific numbers. But I think as you dedicate more time to something, or you start working and want to learn more, macros is a great step to take towards that dedication and committing more time and learning how to weigh and measure your food and, you know, portion sizes to meet your targets, and learning, you know, how, okay, not only are you counting macros right now, but your macros will look different when you're in a cut versus a surplus. And are you in maintenance majority of your year? Are you thinking about your nutrition on a yearly view? So this question again was a little broad, but I tried to cover multiple answers for that. And those were the big questions I had. If anyone has any other questions, definitely drop them in the comments. So for those of you that are on right now, thank you so much for popping on. We covered how to track alcohol, best oils to cook with, and what you should be tracking nutrition wise. So feel free to drop any other ones that you have below, and I'll be sure to answer those in the group. And I'm gonna upload this up on YouTube. So if you guys aren't in our nutrition group and have a question, feel free to drop a comment in there so that I can help, or shoot me a DM, and hopefully I can help you guys there. Thank you so much for popping on, and I will see you guys next Thursday.